Untamed is going to be untamed. It's going to be a little crazy. I want to talk to my people. I want to talk to my brothers and sisters. We can have grace and humility in how we interact with other people.
Oh, hot dog, look at you.
And nobody talked about what's really happening.
And let's have conversations about what truth is.
Haters are going to hate, obviously, but you did get a lot done. And even I know from where I'm sitting and where everyone in the chat is sitting, you know, people who are paying attention know all about Operation Summer Heat, and they know all about, you know, James Comey and Letitia James and all of this. So what would you say you're most proud of?
Man, I mean, we did a lot, and I don't want to take any kind of celebratory victory laps, but, you know, the pipe bomb case was definitely sensitive, obviously. There was a lot going on. That's an ongoing investigation. But sitting there, I was sitting down, and it was I had brought in a different group of guys to take a look at something, and I got a call from a supervisor, totally out of the blue, and he said, hey, boss, are you sitting down? And I said, yeah, why? And he said, I think we got a suspect in this case. And
Whoa.
I got to tell you, I was like blown away, because I know we'd been busting our ass on it for a really long time.
That's my cold open. You want to know why? All right, so there's this thing that happens when you spend time in the Middle East and Africa, and you train yourself on reading people. And Dan is lying. Dan Bongino knows he's lying when he was sitting up there talking. This is all for show. He knows he's lying. All right, play it again. Put me up next to it. Play it again.
Haters are going to hate, obviously, but you did get a lot done. And even I know from where I'm sitting and where everyone in the chat is sitting, you know, people who are paying attention know all about Operation Summer Heat, and they know all about, you know, James Comey and Letitia James and all of this. So what would you say you're most proud of?
Man, I mean, we did a lot, and I don't want to take any kind of celebratory victory laps, but, you know, the pipe bomb case was definitely sensitive, obviously. There was a lot going on. That's an ongoing investigation. But sitting there, I was sitting down, and it was I had brought in a different group of guys to take a look at something, and I got a call from a supervisor, totally out of the blue, and he said, hey, boss, are you sitting down? And I said, yeah, why? And he said, I think we got a suspect in this case. And I got to tell you, I was like blown away, because I know we'd been busting our ass on it for a really long time.
You can, I don't know how to point this out. The way that they cut the video was one that you weren't on him for any length of time, because they knew that he was lying. He knew he was lying. And he said, oh yeah, I brought these guys in to do something. And so he's creating an environment. He's literally creating. All right, so when you're looking at people, you're more concerned about what they don't tell you, not what they do tell you. And the FBI, I mean, he wasn't, but FBI agents are taught to understand deception. I'm not going to waste a lot of time going through this part, and I'm not going to wait, because I only have Mark for 40 minutes. We can go through a bunch of stuff with him, but and I want to go through this with him too, because we framed an autistic black man. You have whistleblowers inside the FBI that live down the street from Brian Cole, and no matter what you say, you can't get around the fact that Brian Cole is not the pipe bomber. And if we're talking about Shawnee Kirkhoff, they did a gait analysis. Kyle Seraphin himself was put on the home next door to Shawnee Kirkhoff who showed up. The bus pass was his. Traced it all the way back. And through this entire thing, as we walk through this, they're still trying to convince us that the lie is the truth. On the head of an autistic black man. So here's what I put up there. It's disgraceful. Dan framed an autistic black kid and covered for CIA stooge Shawnee Kirkhoff. He did not find the pipe bomber. Steve Baker did, and his team did. Glenn Beck folded like a cheap suit, and Steve is no longer at the Blaze as a result. Steve went to D.C. and had health, and a healthy man soon after ended up in the hospital with heart issues. Our government is shit. Dan and Cash are shit. Bondi is shit. Glenn covered for the evil Beck is shit. The Blaze is shit. Dominion Voting Systems is shit. Eric Coomer, the man that said Trump's not going to win because he made sure of it, is shit. As far as I'm concerned, we were surrounded by shit, and we should not tolerate it. Disgraceful. Yeah, bring Mark on. Mark, welcome to the show, brother. It's good to see you.
Yo, good to see you too.
So what do you think? I mean, we frame autistic black kids now. That's the new thing.
Oh gosh, I stay focused in my lane on elections and calling people out for lying about things I can verify myself.
Well, you can verify the fact that a black dude that is autistic that lived in Maryland did not actually go into D.C. and put pipe bombs at different places. You can guarantee that is not. Shawnee Kirkhoff failed her polygraph on the two questions that mattered. Were you the pipe bomber, and were you responsible or part of placing the pipe bombs? She failed the polygraph on those two questions. And you have an autistic black kid that they're trying to say, yeah, he was running around as an extremist and put these pipe bombs in place. Anyway, you cut it.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of liars at all. And I need to know more to see, who's lying, who's not lying. But there's a lot of people in government and in agencies, we'll say, that I'm not familiar with, that have been lying to the American people for a long time. There's like two different versions of reality here. There's the reality that the people live in, that we think our government is one thing and these agencies are one thing. And then there's a whole different group of people that are actually running the show that think we're just annoying little peasants. And so these two realities and I never knew the second one really existed. I heard about the deep state, whatnot, years and years ago. I'd never seen it. I didn't understand what it was. I didn't know if it was real until I went out to DC and actually dove headfirst right after the election and saw the inner workings of all of it. Then I started diving into elections, and I saw even around the country, and I see the inner workings of this, this shadow government essentially operating. It's absolutely alive and real, and it's keeping the people in the dark, and it's controlling stuff that the people all thought we controlled. So would I believe that the FBI is lying? I don't care, who's in there, if it's Dan Bongino or whoever. Yeah, of course it's possible for them to lie. How would the people even know? Because the people are in the dark. We're not even in the passenger seat at this point. We're in the back seat or being towed behind the car at this point. I'm not real happy about that. All I know is to fix all this, it's real simple. We got to take control of our elections. We count our own dots. All this stuff we can address, but they're fighting the very people that may or may not be lying to us. Like J6 is a perfect example. We were completely lied to about J6. I know firsthand. FBI showed up at my doorstep on J5 the day before J6 at my doorstep in Colorado, asking me why I had a We the People banner on my Facebook page. That's why they were apparently at my house, and they kept asking me what I thought should happen on J6 the day after.
Hold on a second. On Jan 6th, on Jan 5th, they showed up at your house?
Yeah, in Colorado. Yep. The day before J6, asking me what I thought should happen the next day. Isn't that interesting? Almost like they knew something. Yeah.
That's
because it really J6 started on J5. By the way.
Oh, I remember. I remember. I was at Freedom Plaza. I was speaking at Freedom Plaza at night when all the cameras went out all the way across the top. And I was like, this is how they stole your elections right here, and this is how they're going to steal the elections tonight in Georgia. And they were like, and they didn't want anybody to see it because it would have basically told them what to look for that night. And guess what happened that night? Everything that I said was going to happen on that stage happened. happen.
That's correct. The people that have been doing all this to us know exactly what they're doing. They just don't want
100%.
us to know it.
100%. 100%.
Right.
Well,
Yep.
so I'll come back to the Kirchhoff deal because I want to dive right into this. Tina Peters and Victor Marx. Now, Victor Marx, there is a story within a story within a story within a story. Now, obviously, Victor Marx is playing the victim card, and he's still out there saying now people are attacking his family. He comes back to the same old tired deal that people are attacking his family. Nobody's attacked his family. Nobody gives a crap about his family. They care about the fact that this psychopath, and I don't even know what you call him otherwise, right? If somebody said, Joe, if you become the state chair, will you support Victor Marx? And I go, of course, if the people elect him, I am forced into a position where I have to support him as the candidate, right? Which is really sad because in no normal world would a guy that just registered to be a Republican 6 years ago, that just, hadn't voted for 15 years prior to that, would walk in and do some of the things that he's done. And you pointed out some of that stuff, and really, Mark, you did it from a different perspective. You were like, look, I don't care what anybody says to you. You said these things. I need to talk to you about it. So here's Victor Marx on Tina Peters. We'll start with that. Play cut one.
She was tried by, jury of her peers. Mm-hmm. They found her guilty. That I don't take issue with because I wasn't part of any of that. Tina Peters, a nonviolent offender, first time elderly woman get 9 years. So my commitment to this is day one of Governor, I'll commute her sentence. Right. I'll not pardon it because that means she never committed a crime. I'm not going to go against that.
I mean, here's a guy that is completely oblivious to what's going on over the last 6 years. I mean, you couldn't find a person that is more out of touch with Colorado politics than this man.
I know, and that's why I reached out to him. I wanted to get him the information that he didn't have so he fully understood what the issue was. I mean, Tina's at the heart of all of this in Colorado. Our elections have been stolen from us. Really, they're being manipulated. People in Colorado haven't figured this out yet. They've been manipulated not just for a couple of years, not since 2020. They've been manipulated far longer than that. And Tina happened to stumble across it. That's why they attacked her. And so for someone running for governor that doesn't understand this, I was like, are you kidding me? Hold on, let me see if I can mute that. That's a friend. But I could not believe that something like that could happen. That it wouldn't know, and he wouldn't even look at it. Wouldn't call me back. Other people had asked him to please reach out to me. He wouldn't reach out to me. Ignored their request. I went and started asking him on X to please reach out to me. I need to get this information to you. One, he's got to know it. If elections are rigged, he's got to know that they're rigged. He's got to know how they're rigged. Otherwise, how the heck are you going to successfully run for governor if you don't know how to protect yourself? And two, we have an innocent citizen who was an elected official that happened to do her duty, oh my gosh, and actually look into some information that could potentially have helped her citizens that she serves. And when she went to expose this information, she got attacked and then thrown in prison by the very same corrupt people Victor Marx claims to be running to clean up. And for him not to want to talk to me, it was absolutely bizarre. Now, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I've asked him only like 5 or 6 times, maybe 10 times now. And maybe I'm finally getting through, and maybe he'll actually call me. He texted me and he said he'd have someone. He said, we will contact you this week, is what he told me.
Well, hold on a second. So I have the back and forth. Let's go ahead and put up the B2 if we can. Okay, Victor, your senior advisor has still not reached out. Now, I'm assuming you know how to use a phone, right? How about you just call me right now? I sent you the number twice via DM, attached here for transparency. And so you showed him that stuff, and here's his response. And then, I'm sorry, you said this. You said, well, no, this is beforehand. He said, let Mark, my senior advisor, know he will reach out to you. What is your best contact info so I can pass it on? And you said, I am the lead forensics in her case, and I've been around her about 90% of what she's been through and know things nobody else knows. It would be insane for someone that is running not to check on what I have to share. Who is we? Is Victor running, or is it we entity running? Is Victor refusing to meet with me? Okay, so now let's go to the new one. And here's the whole thing where you showed that you reached out, and he responded, right?
Yeah. And he's responded since then. as well.
Right.
I mean, I just got something from him, I think today. Let me see here. I'll check. We'll check live here. Where's Victor Marx? Here we go. He says, Mark, we said someone will call you this coming week. And I replied saying that someone needs to be you. Because I don't want to talk to someone on his team. I'm not, people aren't going to be voting for this we entity that's running for governor.
He thinks that people are peasants, right? The guy thinks people are peasants. I mean, he thinks he's above everyone, right?
I don't know. It's
every
weird.
Person you talk to, every single person that I talk to has had any interaction with Victor Marx, can stand to be in the same room with him for all of about 15 minutes, right? And he does these verbose things of, that he's like the guy. And he tries to build this persona that I think is built on ridiculousness, right? There's no strength in what he does. And frankly, Mark, the fact that he won't have a conversation with you means that he's deathly afraid that you're going to basically see this empty shell of a man. I don't care if he's running for governor or not. At the end of the day, I'm more concerned over the fact that when he gets into office, he does the right thing by Tina, if he gets into office, which, I mean, oh my gosh, the stuff that just came out today was unbelievable. This is crazy. And again, I don't have any dog in the hunt. I'm not in the race anymore. Scott Bottoms is my guy. I need to go fix the Republican Party so that we can make sure that we have viable candidates into the future and we can win in November, this year, November.
Yeah, I just want him to call me. I just want to have an opportunity to go over this stuff because he's got to know this. And why would someone avoid wanting to know this? Why would someone that's mentioned Tina numerous times, that everyone in Colorado is talking about, that people all over the country are talking about, that President Trump himself has mentioned and even pardoned her? Wouldn't you think that maybe because the president of the United States of America has pardoned this woman, that if you're running for governor, you just might want to talk to the guy that did the forensics on her case so you can actually intelligently discuss this? It's bizarre that he hasn't called me. I've been waiting. I figured he'd call me last night. I waited, turned my ringer on. I don't usually keep it on at night. I had it on all day long. You just heard it a little bit ago. No phone call from Victor Marx. So I hope he's not an empty, I don't even know. Someone called him vaporware, I heard. I hope he's not that. I hope he's not an empty candidate. I hope he's legitimate. I hope he's real. I would like to have a discussion with him. As you can see, I'm very real. Mark, I'm very logical. I just want to talk to him.
Hope is not a strategy, though, bro. We've talked about this. So I'd like hope to be a strategy, but it's not. Well, so here's.
I want someone real.
Yeah, well, I think that's the problem. Seth Keshel put up a post about voting machines in Colorado, saying, I think I found the problem. And now the GOP is losing the grip on Douglas and El Paso counties. California will be red before Colorado will. I don't have that on my bingo card anytime soon. Mass mail-ins, auto registrations, and mail harvesting equals doom.
Yeah, scroll down. You'll see a comment of mine, too, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, no, we're going to take a look at that. But if you look at the margins and the margins in 2020 and the margins in 2024, now keep in mind, we have fraudulent elections in Colorado that are so fraudulent that my guess is there's at least 500,000 ballots and people that are there that are just absolutely vapor. Call them vapor candidates, right? Mm-hmm. So we don't really know. But here's what we do know. We know that this is not a blue state. It is a red state. That's 100% what we know about Colorado. And we know that fraudulent elections happen in all 50 states at a very substantial and significant rate. We also know...
and it's not red or blue. It's literally, we have people, the citizens, their will is not reflected in these elections. And our will as citizens, Democrats and Republicans, our will is not being represented in our elections because these guys that have been doing this to us for decades have a way to override the will of the people. They can control the outcome of these election systems, and they have been able to do it for decades. And therefore, all of us are getting screwed. And meanwhile, they've got us fighting with each other, thinking it's, red or blue thing. It's not. It's so much more than that. And it's not just like the wrong candidate. Oh, we got the wrong person in office. It's not that. It's we are getting eroded. We're getting priced out of everything. We're getting ripped off. We're getting ripped off in every possible way. We are losing our houses. We're losing our jobs. We're going to be bankrupt soon. The states are going bankrupt. The people are going to go bankrupt. Everyone's going to see it hurt, and it's going to hurt so hard. It's going to hurt past the point where we can actually fix it if people don't start listening and doing something about it. And the solution is so easy. We have to reclaim our elections, period. It's all about the elections. And for someone running for governor like Victor Marx, if he isn't running 100% on restoring integrity in the elections, putting them back in the hands of the people, I have no idea who the heck this guy is.
Yeah, it's not. It's getting worse and worse and worse. Put that back up, because Mark did have a post on that. It should be just below it.
Could be. I can see my bullet.
So you and I have talked about Eric Coomer at length. Eric Coomer, the guy that is the director of strategy and security, he was the original system architect, the chief architect of Sequoia voting systems, dating all the way back to 2005, when he was on his way to prison for a long period of time and got out of that only to be brought in as the guy that ran the election systems for 17 states and the District of Columbia. He frankly then took that system, rebuilt, did whatever he did, went to Chicago, brought in 24 Venezuelans, made sure that election was as close to a kabuki theater as you could possibly get, caused an uproar everywhere, which got CIFUS involved, that said, nope, you guys have to sell this. There's no way in the world these are legitimate elections. Inside of that entire process in 2007, for 3 years, it was run by this proxy group of managers that during that period of time saw so many election snafus that it was almost considered, several states considered throwing it out, including the District of Columbia. Okay? 2009 gets transferred over to Dominion. Guess who's right there again? Eric Coomer, the guy that was originally there in 2005 that caused all this pain, directly tied to Smartmatic, directly tied to Venezuela. He goes in, does his stuff, a known Satanist during this period of time. He gets himself in a couple more DUIs, gets himself into more trouble.
But what's his background? What's his education and his knowledge? What's his knowledge?
No.
Yeah.
He's got a PhD in nuclear engineering, right? And his doctorate thesis, which I have, that I've run now through every single AI platform that I could possibly get it to actually carry. And I said, build me based on this. Does this compute based on the cast vote records? We now are building an entire model which proves Eric Coomer's doctorate thesis, the math that he had in that, is directly tied to the PID controllers and the functions that are built in to the web, to the election systems that we have today.
What a coincidence. So you're telling me that he has the knowledge necessary in order to develop a way to manipulate election results in a way that would be nearly undetectable by the people.
He was smarter, but he's not that bright. Okay, fine. Mark's comment, put it up. It says, the infiltrators and the idiots in the GOP are providing the cover for the communists to destroy the state. The only thing I see that can save the GOP is Joe Oltmann. I take that as an endorsement for a state chair.
Well, I would say that's probably accurate, because I really don't know who understands the system enough, understands the politics enough, has the courage enough, has the vision enough. And I'm not just saying this because I'm trying to give you an endorsement. I truly, if someone asked me who could do it, it is you. That's why I posted that. Legitimately, I don't know who else could do it. But it needs to be done, because I know there are good people in the GOP, but they're being crushed. They're being crushed by these infiltrators in the GOP, and they're being kept from realizing what the truth is. The parties have been infiltrated, both parties, Democrats and Republicans. Democrats were infiltrated long ago, and the parties were totally taken over. And they're taken over because the parties are used to control the candidates that are getting on the ballot. So then once they get them on the ballot, they can then manipulate the results in the election system to put people in office. So of course you're going to go after the parties, because it's a mechanism of control. It's a lever that they can pull in the elections. And luckily, some stubborn people stayed in the GOP, and we're putting up a fight. You know, we've got the real American people, the American citizens that are here, that are trying to fight the infiltration in the GOP, and someone's got to go in there with a backbone, a spine, and help the good people in the GOP clear out the infiltrators so we can return the integrity of the GOP. And I hope someone does that with the RNC at some point as well.
Well, this gets me down to what's really happening in the GOP, and we talked about the blueprint. It's funny that the Dominion was right here in Colorado. It was a Canadian company. Oh, I'm sorry. It was a Serbian company that went to Canada, hid behind Canada, and then came to the United States and hid behind the United States. But what's funny about this is that in the blueprint, I was going through and watching the Rocky Mountain heist and all those, the things that looked at how the Democrats were able to do what they did. But in order to do that, you have to destroy fundamentally the Republican Party so that it holds less resistance to what they're trying to accomplish on the Democrat side. So everything we're seeing now is a massive number of people that are Democrats that are inside the Republican Party. I called them out in a video that I put up on Facebook. I'm going to share it to the other platforms, but I put it out there on the Facebook, and I was like, listen, if you want to have lunch with me, I'll have lunch with you. I don't even like you, and you don't like me. Well, that's fine, but let's put all that aside. Let's see if we can come to a conclusion. Now, right after that, I get a call from someone that says, I talked to so-and-so. He's like, over my dead body. And I was like, that's exactly what I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear that you were a part of the Democrat establishment and that you want to see the Republican Party stay destroyed. And frankly, Mark, it's not even, we don't even have an office. There's no state office right now. None.
Wait, there's no leadership. Who's the chairman right now? Who's the chairperson?
Britta Horn. Britta Horn, who, by the way, did not let all the delegates show up because she couldn't find a place big enough to hold it. So she's having it down in Pueblo, in the cheapest part that she could find of a place that would have the assembly. And here's a person that has been in the position for, will be 16 months or whatever since she's gotten in, and absolutely nothing has been accomplished other than $250,000 in debt. The donor class thinks that it's abhorrent. They can't get behind her. There was a vote of no confidence. And the fact that there was over 100 people that voted that they had confidence in her just blows my mind, frankly. It blows my mind. So
because do they want to have confidence in her, or do they actually have confidence in her? Because a lot of people confuse a want with actually having substance to it.
Bro, she has destroyed everything she's touched. Britta Horn has destroyed she closed down the state office. And her attorney is the one that represents her when the GOP, when there was a lawsuit against GOP, that debt for the Republican Party is all her attorney. Her attorney. I'm like, I look at it, I go, what is happening here? Like, how is this even possible? How do you hand the reins over to someone that so clearly is ill-equipped and has no talent, no ability to run a party? You hand it over to him because you had these people that said, okay, that's the person we want. We want the establishment said we want her, and stepped over.
Well, that may be the problem.
Yeah,
that may be the problem, because there's a group of people that are behind all of this. And if it's the establishments who the citizens are up against, and the establishment placed an individual there, of course, I'm not shocked at that. And that's all the more reason why, if the people actually want to have their liberty, then use what's left of the GOP. Let's resurrect it, boot the infiltrators out, boot the establishment out, and return it to the people so we can actually fix this problem.
And recruit, right? Recruit young people.
Of course.
I mean, I'm gonna talk about Abby for a minute. So Abby is running for Mesa County GOP county clerk, or sorry, Mesa County clerk and recorder on our side, and she's amazing. I want to make sure I say her last name right. Silzel. But Abby, I was at a meeting in Mesa County, and I looked at her, and she's like, and I go, you need to run for office. Like, we need young people to run for office. This is a young person's game. And connected her to some people here, and she's running for office. I endorsed her this morning. I want massive amounts of young people. I don't care if they have no experience. I don't care. I want young people. This is a young person's game. And we need to have young people that are on fire for supporting the community, that are willing to run on the beaches of Normandy, because that's really where we're at right now.
Yep. And they want truth, and they want real liberty, and they want to stop all the corruption and all the lies. That's what we need. Absolutely, we need some young people, because a lot of the people I work with can barely send an email. They have problems learning how to log into a website. So yes, I would love to have some young people that understand tech to be able to do this. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So you had another post that you put up going back to the election stuff. I don't want to spend too much of my time with you talking about.
Yeah, I got 7 minutes.
Okay. The 2018 barbecue at Eric Coomer's house. Let's put this up. Matt Crane, executive director of the Colorado County Clerks Association, former Arapahoe County clerk and recorder, Republican, key figure in Colorado election administration and defense of voting systems. There's a reason Crane seemed to be at the center of things. Start digging and you won't be disappointed. What he's done to the county clerks of Colorado is disgusting, and what they find out, it won't be good for Maddie. Hillary Ruddy, senior staff member at the Colorado Secretary of State's office, is under Jenna Griswold, frequently involved in election administration and policy matters. Sheila Reiner, Mesa County from 2001 to 2019, county clerk and recorder 2011 to 2019, appointed by Griswold to replace Tina Peters in an interim capacity in some context in 2021. Longtime local election official 2019 to 2025, Mesa County treasurer and public trustee, 2025 Mesa County finance director. This one is smoking suspicious. Mesa County, start digging. Any resistance you encounter will speak volumes. Hillary Hale, Boulder County clerk and recorder, 2013 to 2019, Democrat, prominent advocate for Colorado's risk-limited audits, a con on the citizens. Any election security practices, LOL. Collaborated with other clerks on statewide election improvements, meaning pushed citizens away from their elections. Now, what do they all have in common? All hanging out with Eric Coomer, the guy with a Satanist tattoo on his arm who wrote about beating
at his house.
wife at his house, at his home. These are people in the election world they're supposed to serve the people that are hanging out at
Together.
Eric Coomer's whole house together.
Well, it's a big club, and we aren't in it. That's the problem.
This is what I'm talking about. We're in a place right now where the people have been betrayed. The judiciary is rotted to the core. That the judges are terrible. The attorneys are terrible. One of the most massive corruption and fraud cases in the state of Colorado's history. And the AUSA and the Supreme Court justices all swept it under the rug and tried to hide it from the DOJ. And that just gets me in the DOJ, who's terrible. So, Mark, tell everyone where you are and what you're doing. And, that the gig is up, bro. We're tired of the charade. They can't stop lying.
They can't stop lying because they've been doing it for decades, and they desperately do not want the people to figure this out. Because once we figure it out, we're going to abolish this system of control, this corporate-run election system. And once we take back control of our elections, their entire house of cards falls. And I'm sorry, but American citizens, we have no choice. We have to. We won't have a nation otherwise. So right now I'm out in North Carolina. I'm about to head up to Guilford County. I'm about 30 minutes away, and that's why I got to hit the road here real quick. I'm doing a presentation tonight at 6 o'clock with the citizens. Then we're going to get together and do a little bit of strategy session tomorrow morning, and then I'll be on the road to the east part of North Carolina. I've got a couple events on there, so you can find all those events, locations, etc. at handcountroadshow.org is where all that's at. And if you want to, and please do, follow me on X, I would really appreciate it because I will be dropping a lot of more live stuff. And tomorrow is going to be my first, my first show of Tactic Tuesdays, where I'm going to actually start going over, I'm going to spill the beans on all the cabal's tactics that they've been using over the years to manipulate our elections. So tomorrow's the kickoff for that. Show episode number 1, and you'll want to watch for that. I'll record it sometime tomorrow, and I will put it out online by the end of the day. I wish I could do them all live, but because I'm on the road all the time traveling around, I'm going to do my best to keep them at a fixed time, but it's probably going to be sometime before midnight that I'll get them out to you guys. So it'll be a lot of fun. Then I'm going to have guests on every week. Every Tuesday, I'll have a guest that has been affected by that particular cabal tactic. So
if you want, we can put these into the Untamed Nation world, and
I'd be down.
Broadcast it. We did it for Father Mahana. He has his Untamed show, and it worked out really well. Does it once a week on Thursdays.
I'm kind of untamed, so I'm okay with that.
You're definitely untamed. That is absolutely true.
So are you.
All right, God bless you, brother. Thank you for being the patriot that you are and going all the way around the country. By the way, we're in opt-out mode with the Republican Party in Colorado, so the hand count roadshow is going to become very important when we move to capture back our primary elections and take it away from the state of Colorado so that they can have no part of it. So looking forward to that.
You got it.
All right.
See you later. Thanks, Joe.
God bless you, brother.
You too.
Whew, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, man, we got so much to talk about. So much to talk about. Yeah, before we go back to it, before we actually go, Mark's one of my favorite people, by the way. Seth Keshel's going to be on this week. Dave Clements is going to be on this week. We got a bunch of people coming on this week. It sounds like we're going to get on the guy that runs is the Point, Rob Whitwer. It looks like he served in Colorado State Senate, and that the Rocky Mountain Heist is based on the blueprint by him. Well, maybe we'll have him on. Wait, no, we wouldn't have him on. Grandmother. He is very interested, not a Republican anymore. Yeah, I'd love to have him on. Okay, so we're gonna go to a commercial break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about the Shauna Kirkhoff deal, the CIA stooge that is the pipe bomber. I mean, if you fail at polygraph, your gate lines up, and they're covering for you to frame a autistic black kid. That just says a lot about how evil both sides are in this apparatus. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Joe, Supreme Leader of DCF Guns. What is DCF Guns, you ask? We're the best damn gun store and range in the universe. Do we have guns? We have all the guns. We got small guns. We got big guns. We even have beastly guns. We offer all types of training, and we have 5 ranges across our 3 locations. I'm a good shot. And of course, we have all types of ammo. We even have flamethrowers. Woo! We offer incredible membership opportunities, and members save even more on guns, ammo, and accessories. Come join the DCF family today, where we keep the range hot and the deals hotter. It's hot.
In every thread, in every stitch, Honor-Bound USA weaves the fabric of the American spirit. It's not just apparel, it's a testament to God, family, and country. At Honor-Bound USA, we're a family of patriots who put our faith, family, and America first. When you visit our website, you'll find a line of products that embody our commitment to pray, stand, speak, and act. As the official site for the Untamed podcast, all of our products proclaim speaking the truth with courage. We also have the powerful documentary from Professor David Clements, Let My People Go. Identify yourself as one of the few who are willing to stand for what they believe in. Join the Honor-Bound USA family today. Wear it as a badge of honor, commitment to the values that shape us, and a pledge to the bright future we will build together. Because when you're honor-bound, you're not just wearing a brand, you're embodying a lifestyle. All right, welcome back. So we were talking about before when Mark came on, and obviously we're in this place where it's utter chaos. Everything that we deal with is this huge charade, and we tolerate it. We find ourselves tolerating it over and over and over again. And remember, it was liars that crucified Jesus. It was people that were jealous, that did not want the truth to be told to the people. They were afraid of it. And when we look at what's happening today, not much has changed. Evil people still act like they're the good ones while doing an immense amount of harm to the people in our country, in the world. And when I see, I put up a post, I was pretty critical of Glenn Beck. And I'm just gonna say this. Steve Baker is a saint to come out and support these people. He put up this post. I want to read it to you. A couple of quick and important notes on the shitstorm the Blaze initiated today. Please read carefully. Glenn Beck had nothing to do with either my hiring or firing. He hasn't known the Blades for quite some time. In fact, the leadership who fired me are the ones Glenn called wussies during a broadcast last year. They're also probably responsible for his near complete separation from the company he founded. My prohibition from appearing on the Blaze TV show had nothing to do with the show's host. They have all been overwhelmingly gracious and welcoming to me, including the producers, crew, and sidekicks. They were highlights of my time at the Blaze. I wish them nothing but success and prosperity into the future. Ditto for all the other editors, writers, engineers, gun gurus, hair and makeup artists, security teams, accountants, and janitors. They all made my time at the Blaze a very special 2.5 years. I will miss them all. The simple fact that our decision to part ways was a fundamental difference in how the sides felt about how to handle the larger J6 pipe bomb story. I thought we were going to do this amicably and leave the doors open for future projects together. Right up to the very eve of my termination, they were still trying to get me to reconsider, stay, and play to their rules. I couldn't do that. Any other version of events told or to be told is an absolute falsehood. So I had to respond to that because I was the one that pushed it out there. I got a lot of calls about it. Like, I can't believe they went after Steve. I talked to Kyle Seraphin about it. Kyle's like, it took his name off of the bio that he was at the Blaze. And I took offense to that. And I took offense because you stand up for your brothers, no matter what. And I could be 10,000 miles away from Steve, no problem. I could be in the same room with him. If I'm in the same room with him and someone comes to take him, they got to go through me first. And you'd say, well, why? Why, Joe? He wouldn't do it for you. Maybe. Maybe he wouldn't. But that's not what being your brother's keeper is all about. That's not what 1 John 3:16 is. Not the gospel of John 3:16, 1 John 3:16, that God gave up his only son, so we should be willing to give up our lives for our brothers. I take that to heart. Maybe I take too much of what it says in the Gospels to heart. Maybe I take too much of what Jesus says to heart. But I do. I said this. I said, I stand corrected, and I apologize for assuming without checking with Steve that he was forced out. Glenn Beck, however, did not stand when he had the chance to do the right thing. Being your brother's keeper is difficult when the thirst of recognition is paramount. I do not aspire to suffer as Jesus or to make my life more difficult than it has to be. Yet I do aspire to a level of dignity and choosing the right, despite the path being more difficult. The reality is Steve could have used a friend day one, and on that test of character, most at the Blaze failed. To that end, Steve showed the world who he was, and that road will inherently be more difficult. Cowards do not like courage or strength. They also loathe commitment because it shows clearly the chasm between the individuals and the collective. We're in a weird spot right now. The haves and the have-nots are starting to become clearer. That is those that have character and courage, and those that do not have either. Social media is a cesspool of feelings, not facts. If the facts are, we can see the weak people and cowards have the reins for far too long. Either Jesus is coming back or the fight of all fights for humanity is about to kick off, because what we have now is just not tenable for much longer. Pray. And Steve, I'm sorry to contribute to the narrative that was not accurate. You know, in the real world, in the business world, you have to find ways to own things that happen in the business relationship. And every time something bad happens, you have to be able to recalibrate on that bad to make it good. And, you know, so it's not uncommon for me to go, well, I screwed that up. I shouldn't have said that. I'm gonna drag that back. And it's missing. You know what else is missing? Truth. Truth is missing. Truth is missing. I want to tell you guys something. Two things can be true at the same time. We can believe in the sovereignty of the nation of Israel and the people there should be able to live peacefully, while also admitting that there are people that use that as a hub that have done incredibly evil things in the United States and around the world. all the perversion that we deal with today, 100% of the perversion we deal with today, pedophilia at the rate that we did, all comes back to the genesis of these organizations that in large part are funded by Israel. People in there. I mean, not the country. But there are highest density pedophiles in Israel. You would say, oh, Joe, that's not true. It's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. The guy in Vegas that got arrested for trying to sleep with a little boy who worked on the cabinet with Bibi. Now, any normal person would say, let him fry, stay there and make that guy go to prison. Now, he was allowed to leave the country. He fled and they, 6.5 months later, just dropped the charges, unceremoniously just kicked him out and said, oh, we're not going to do anything with it. Haves and the have-nots. A deviant piece of shit that got away with trying to rape a child. And you want to sit here and tell me that, you know, these people are bad. Everyone's bad. Everyone's bad except for the people that are doing really bad stuff. And this is why I say that the charade is so easy to see. And I can tell right now that I'm hitting a nerve because the place where I have the most play is on my website, where people go and they actually don't feel like they have any sort of boundaries and they don't get shut down at Rumble. And by the way, I'm a huge shareholder at Rumble. Huge. By any stretch of the imagination, I own a lot of Rumble. I'm a big shareholder. I mean, for the average person to go spend what I have in shares, untenable. And I can't even get them to do the right thing. But let's put all this aside for a minute. I know that I'm onto something when I get censored on every platform. And you can see it. Facebook gets a phone call from someone. They're like, hello. They're like, yeah, you need to censor Oltmann again. Okay, we'll do that. Click. Censor, 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 censor. And no matter where you go, you can see it. I mean, it becomes blatantly obvious. Joe's going to talk about something that's truthful. We're going to stop him from speaking because we're deathly afraid of someone else catching on to the truth and being like, oh, that's true. You're not allowed to say the obvious out loud. You're not allowed to stand up for the people in our country. You know what else you're not allowed to do? And this is Tucker Carlson now deciding that he's going to he's got FU money. He's going to step out and say the truth. No matter what it does, he's going to say the truth. He had this meeting. He had a interview. Let's go ahead and play it. You need to go up a little. I can't see it. Go.
And underneath all of this, and the reason that I really do worry that the country is going to become like openly tribal, and that leads to violence every time, is that a lot of the same people who are upset about the rise in anti-Semitism, which again I think is real, I mean I can tell it's real, and I don't like it either, are the ones who abetted all the anti-white hate for so long, which is still not being addressed. The Trump administration sued Harvard over its anti-Jewish discrimination. Yeah. Which is like, it's deranged.
What a slap in the face to white people.
Well, it's unbelievable.
Oh my God.
And of course, the anti-white hate is still totally embedded at every level of our government and in business and most famously in schools. So that's like an attempt to hurt people on the basis of their race, and no one has said anything about it. And my point is, these are either universal principles, they apply to every human being endowed with human rights by the Creator, or they're just preferences. It's just your tribe against mine, and then I'm allowed to fight your tribe for the benefit of my tribe, like, and it just devolves into Rwanda. So, like, I think we could diffuse a lot of this if, like, the head of the ADL would be like, I'm every bit as opposed to anti-white hate as I am to anti-Jewish hate. If we could all just agree that it's all wrong, then we decelerate. But until then, how can I take you seriously?
Yeah, and and I think along with that is, we have to stop fighting wars on behalf of Israel, and we have to have some type of separation. I mean, I'm not saying that, like, I'm not saying we should be enemies with Israel or that we should go to war with Israel or anything like that, but the relationship, the special relationship between the U.S. and Israel is so freaking weird. And now in this new media environment, it's been exposed. I don't think...
Stop fighting their battles for them. Stop telling me that girls can be boys and boys can be girls, which are run by faithless, godless, synagogue of Satan individuals. Every single one of those organizations is run by those people. Go look it up. Matter of fact, get me a couple of those organizations, please, so I can actually prove a point here, if you can, while we're sitting here. The LGBTQYP, gender fluid, everywhere you turn, these freaks are right in front of us. Everywhere you turn. And the goal and the target is always Christians. And pissing off black people to say that it's white people when really it's not. It's the synagogue of Satan. And trying to tell you that it's white people that caused all these problems for you. No, it's not. And the same thing was done overseas. I was there. I'd go to different countries and they would all tell you the same story. And it was the same people that showed up to tell us that, you know, you're a bunch of dogs. And they believed it. The synagogue of Satan people did. The Talmud people. Not the Old Testament, God-fearing, good people. No. The people that literally held themselves to a standard where they literally can shit on anyone that they want. That was the problem. And it's not the Jews, just so we're clear. It's not the Jews. It's not. And everyone wants to, you know what, Tucker Carlson, I'm gonna drop some stuff on you you're not gonna like. There's a difference between the Jews, even the Samaritans, and these Bolshevikian, whatever you want to call it, fake Jews. These devil-worshipping Nazi people. And you would say, Joe, I'm confused. No, you're not. Anyone that tells you that you have to allow for evil things to happen because these people did it when they're hiding behind the true and good people of a country, there's something wrong with you. I'm going to say it. And I'm not self-loathing. And my family is Jewish and Catholic and Christian and Mormon. I have the biggest smorgasbord. I am the mutt of all mutts. And you can't convince me. You can't sit here and tell me that it's okay to wait 6.5 hours in Israel on October 7th and watch children be slaughtered. And that's what happened. You had women raped and children that were slaughtered, and it was all done with the approval of the people that stopped the IDF from coming in. Because let me just tell you something, you can't go 50 meters without running into someone that's in the IDF, and there's no way 6.5 hours later that there'll be no presence of the IDF on the street after 6.5 hours. It's not possible. You'd have to set it up that way. And then there are people that have testified that they were told not to go on patrol and to stay out of that area. They were told, these are IDF soldiers that were told to stand down while people in their community were raped. Who does that? Who does that? Who in their right mind does that? Victims in their own environment, but it set the stage for us being able to do things and go in and act and do whatever we want to do. October 7th was the most terrible day for people literally just trying to have fun while people came in and just victimized them. But they were used as a storyline and the people can see it. That's why I say it's a charade. You can see it. You can see it. Can't we sit here and tell the truth? I don't give a shit about people's feelings. Let's talk about the truth. These people were betrayed. They were murdered in cold blood by an agreement between Hamas and the leadership that is supposed to protect the people of Israel. That's what happened. That's what happened. And the betrayal against the American people based on these charades, they have been stealing elections for decades. They've been lying to us and helping us embrace or telling us to embrace the ridiculous for decades. Girls can be boys, boys can be girls. It's all about protecting people. You have to take care of these people. You know what? Here's the deal. I don't care if you're a pink dinosaur. You can be whatever the hell you want. Stop recruiting children. Stop making it difficult, making teachers have to teach this garbage, putting DEI and a bunch of other stuff that frankly is a bunch of perverted bullshit. It's not even real. Now, let me just go through some other things with you real quick. Here, let's put this up there, can we? Let's put up the Global Action for Trans Equality. This is GATE. Now, who do you think runs GATE? Who runs it? It's run by a bunch of freaks associated with what? Oh, let me just get right to it. Yep. Faithless, godless people that happen to be a part of this thing. And if we don't separate it, Tucker Carlson just said it. He said it very clearly. He said, the anti-Semitism is easy to see. It is ridiculously easy to see. It is. I have a friend of mine, Alex. I find it difficult to have conversations with some of my friends because they're afraid. Some of them won't even admit to people that they are Jewish. They won't admit it. They won't admit that they're Jewish because by admitting that they're Jewish, they put themselves at risk. And the risk is not just a physical risk, it's an emotional risk because then people say things about you and they wonder. But we haven't found a way to separate Jewish brothers and sisters from Jewish cowards that do evil things. We found a way to separate out Christians and Muslims. We call Muslims that do evil things terrorists. We call them that. ISIS, Taliban. Although I'm going to tell you right now, when I sat down and had coffee and did dua with a Taliban leader, I actually did have coffee, not tea, coffee. He was the nicest guy in the world. Now you're really going to be upset at me. Now I'm saying that there's a terrorist that's a nice person. We keep lumping everybody together, and we are getting nowhere. You know, every side attacks Christians. Why? Because Christians have a high road. They have a high road. We put all Muslims in this bucket and we just want to attack them and we want to say they're terrible and they're bad people. I had a conversation with a guy that was from Eritrea. Yeah. And he's Muslim. His name is Wahib. And I was going back to the airport and I got to talk to him in Arabic, which is awesome. And for not having as many conversations with someone who speaks Arabic, I did extremely well. I understood what he was saying, which I take as a marker. Like God's like, okay, I know you're really rusty at this, but I'm gonna let you understand. And so I sat there, and we just talked. We talked about the food, we talked about the culture, and he had been to Mecca and Medina. And he had been to Saudi Arabia and Bahrain and all these places. And you'd say, well, why is he driving an Uber? And you just don't know. You actually don't know why people do that. Time on his hands. Super nice man. And then we talked about what really it is that he sees as the problem. And he was very clear. He's like, Israel. And I was like, really? And I said, well, what if I told you that I'm a Jewish Christian? He's like, I'd still tell you it's Israel. Now keep in mind, I haven't paid for the thing yet. I could have given him 0 stars. He didn't care. He wanted to be truthful with me because I was being truthful with him. I was having a good conversation with him. And I go, I don't think it's the people. And he goes, I agree. It's not my people either. So imagine this. You're having this conversation and doing all this stuff, and you're talking to this man, and he's saying the quiet part out loud. How many people does he have in his car that he doesn't get to tell that to, that have some preconceived notion that it's every Jew over in Israel that's like, yeah, let's bomb the hell out of Iran. It's the opposite. And look, I don't want to kill anybody. I don't want the footprint, my footprint of nationalism, to be America first, to be on the throat of another country at the expense of killing people while saying that I'm more important in humanity than another. And I think that's my problem with these diabolical people that run different states, like Griswold and Polis and Weiser and Dan Rubenstein, and I can go down the line. And now I have a case out of Mesa County where Dan Rubenstein's wife is involved in the stealing of land from somebody and literally just swiped land. And my friend had the same thing happen in Wyoming. It's happening now all over the country. By the way, if you own land, they are literally walking in and stealing it with these fake deeds, and time goes by, and then you don't know that you didn't even have your land anymore. I bring this up because if we don't start separating this stuff, and by the way, Jews are coming out talking about this, but the media won't let them talk. They're too busy talking to these Zionists over here that only want blood. I'm not a Zionist. I am 100% a Christian. That means I follow Christ. Here's another organization, International Trans Fund. Yeah. So the funders are the American Jewish World Services. Wait, here's another one, Transgender Europe, funded by a Jewish group. I mean, look, you don't have to like what I'm saying right now. Here's Tigu. They have created a club where evil, instead of saying it's a Satan's club, and by the way, I call it the synagogue of Satan. If you don't like it, go to Revelations 2:9. Go to Revelations 3:9. It's in the Bible. These are people that are Satanists. And if you don't think this is Satanism, I don't know what to say to you. And look, if you're a transgender, I'm not against you. I'm not against you. I'm against the organization that thinks it's okay to drive someone into a lifestyle and to recruit people and to groom children into a deal where over 40% of the children will attempt suicide. So it's basically, it's like the Jones Pack. Let's just all go down to South America and drink the Kool-Aid and let's kill each other off. That's in essence what they're doing. If the agenda was to get the world population down, pretty easy to do, right? Just turn everyone into eunuchs, cut off penises and stop women from being able to reproduce. They've done it with vaccines, they've done it with big pharma, they've done it with environmental changes, they've done it with chemtrails, they've done it with, you can look at all the things that they've done to us and the charades that they put in front of us, and it's easy to see. And all we're saying is, listen, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, let us have a good life and step out of the way and stop treating us like slaves. So let me give you an example of this group of people. Anti-Defamation League, terrible, 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 terrible people. Listed me as a militiaman, and my organization as a hate group. I've never hated on anybody, ever. I'm not even hating on the people that I should hate on. I should want to tear these people apart that try to hurt my people in my community and groom children, but I don't. So here's a case that we've talked about before, that this is the America First Legal. So if you don't know about the America First Legal, do we have America First Legal? Can we put up their website? America First Legal filed a civil rights complaint against Cherry Creek High School District for branding student misconduct culturally appropriate and blocking student discipline based on race. This actually happened. Cherry Creek. That's a Republican stronghold, right? And the package has been, we haven't even started talking about the fact that the DOJ, Pam Bondi is a cunt. She did nothing. There was nothing that was done by the DOJ of any significance. And you start hearing stuff like they got the murder rate down at the FBI. Who did that? Show me who did that at the DOJ. Show me the action that was taken that actually resulted in this going down and murder going down. Show me what the DOJ did. Show me what the judges did. Show me what anybody, show me anybody in the DOJ or the FBI that their actions resulted in less people dying and less misery of the American people. They can't even pay for anything. Put it up, please. Good organization, great organization. American First Legal. Go check it out. They're protecting all sorts of people, and they're well funded by parents that are just trying to fight for the basics of what's in their community. Go ahead, take it down. Whew. Let's go to the page. Can we go to the page where we can see the website of the briefing? Can we go to the press briefing that summarizes the document? Is that it? Yeah, you're going to make it bigger for me, for my eyes. Okay, so America First Legal files federal civil rights complaint against Colorado School District for branding students misconduct culturally appropriate and blocking student discipline based on race. What are you teaching people? You're actually creating a race war. We got rid of it. America First has filed a federal lawsuit. Civil rights complaint with the U.S. Department of Education Office for Civil Rights and the U.S. Department of Justice's Civil Rights Division, calling for the immediate investigation in Cherry Creek School District in Greenwood Village, Colorado, for violations of Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. There's a thing in here. Can we play that video? So let me just tell you what this says. We're calling her, this just goes through and talks about the fact that whiteness, you're not allowed to be white. And let me tell you, if these devilish people, these synagogue of Satan people, they're not Jews. They're not Jews, they're not Jews, they're not Jews. If we're not going to be anti-Semitic, we're going to take these people, we're going to push them over here, and like they want peace. If you were to go to Israel today and talk to people on the street, they would all tell you they don't want anything to do with what's going on right now. There are mass protests happening in Israel as we speak right now against the things that are happening in Lebanon, Syria, and in Iran. Massive. But these synagogue of Satan individuals, they are, I want to say it again, I'm going to take them and put them in their own circle. These are Satanists. These are bad, bad, bad people. Bad people. These are Revelations 2:9, Revelations 3:9. These are those people. These are devils that took Colorado from the third best place to live, safest place to live, to the fourth worst, most crime-ridden state in the country. I want to talk about the fact that they've destroyed the state of Colorado in every category, from education to opportunity to business to regulations to human rights to constitutional rights. They've destroyed all of it. They literally are standing on the throat of people in Colorado every day. They have stolen their First Amendment right, their Second Amendment right. They're making it legal for people to sue counselors that say, listen, I'm going to teach you about therapy, and that maybe this isn't the right path for you. That makes it for them speaking to the child, First Amendment, the right for parents and other people just to sue. Parents that are just third parties, by the way. Child Protective Services can sue them. Anyone can sue them. Biggest problem we have in our state is that people can't live. And then we have people that step over and spit on people inside of our community. Black, brown, white, doesn't matter. But they sit over here, the synagogue of Satan people, and they say, it's the white people over there. And oh, by the way, we're not white. We're different. We're Jewish. We're not white. We're not white. You can't put us in the white bag. So those are the white people, which is what they're saying is Christians. What they're saying is Christians. When they're pointing over there, they're not, that's what nobody seems to understand. This group of people over here, these radical leftists, a part of this synagogue of Satan deal, they're over here saying white people because they know they couldn't get away with saying Christian. That's what they're doing. The Christians over there, we want to punish them. And we want to change it so that we can let people, black people, go out and victimize people and teach them that that's okay because the white people, they're the ones that did it. And by the way, most people don't believe this. Most black people don't believe this. Most brown people don't believe. They think these people are nuts just as much as we think they're nuts. They think they're evil just as much as we think they're evil. I'm talking to my friend, he literally, and I was like, bro, come on now. I was talking to Dr. King, who's running for governor in Wisconsin. And I talked to him this morning. And he's like, Joe, we know who it is that's doing this. And we have to find a way to use information and the vernacular the correct way. And then you have people, dog whistlers, that will come in and say, anti-Semitic, anti-Semitic. Let's put this up here. This is CPAN, Colorado. Major civil rights complaint filed against Cherry Creek School District, allegations of race-based training and exclusionary programming and teachers training programs. This is unbelievable. And you know who was involved in some of this stuff? And I don't want to speak for him, but Patrick has been fighting this fight because he stood up and said, look, I'm an American. And Patrick's of the same, he's in the same deal that, like, we're from the same generation. We thought we crushed we thought we crushed racism. I thought we got rid of it. This is from June of 2025. And so I want to look at how quickly, I want to show you how quickly the DOJ works. What you just saw was from June of 2025. Okay, June 2nd, 2025. Dear Office for Civil Rights, this is a federal civil rights complaint pursuant to the U.S. Department of Education's Office for Civil Rights Discriminatory Complaint Resolution Procedures. Colorado Parents Advocacy Network, CPAN, is submitting this complaint to formally report civil rights violations occurring within the Cherry Creek School District in Colorado. We're filing the complaint against CCSD for violating Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which prohibits discrimination based on race, color, or national origin in programs receiving federal funding. June of 2025, take it down. Now, in January of 2025, President Trump issued an executive order, 14188, directing stronger action against campus anti-Semitism. That was what happened in January. February 2025, the DOJ forms a joint task force to combat anti-Semitism involving DOJ, Department of Education, HHS, and others. The task force announced visits to 10 high-profile campuses, including Columbia, Harvard, Northwestern, UCLA, and others. Ready? I'm not done yet. In March of 2025, the task force begins aggressive enforcement. On March 7th, the administration cancels $400 million in federal grants and contracts to Columbia University, citing its continued inaction and deliberate indifference to persistent anti-Semitic harassment since October of 2023. Similar funding freezes or reviews hit other schools. Northwestern faces a freeze on $790 million. Negotiations intensified after the March funding cut. Columbia made initial concessions on March 21st, 2025. The full settlement was announced on July 23rd, 2025. Columbia agreed to pay $200 million to federal government over 3 years and $21 million to the EEOC Claims Fund for affected Jewish employees. Total $221 million for affected Jews. In exchange, most frozen funding was restored. Columbia adopted the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism and implemented other policy changes. Brown University settlement announced on June 30th, 2025, agreed to pay $50 million over 10 years to workforce programs. Cornell University settlement announced November 7, 2025, paid a $30 million fine and a $30 million in other commitments. Northwestern University settlement announced November 28, 2025, agreed to pay $75 million over 3 years to unlock $790 million in frozen funding. So what is it? Tell me what the DOJ has actually done to stop these initiatives that are hurting white people all over the country. And it's not just hurting white people, it's hurting race relations. It is creating a race war. So the first order of business of the DOJ was combating anti-Semitism, not DEI, not Marxist teachings that are ripping our society apart. Costing people their jobs, their livelihoods. They got to put these stupid things that are pronouns on it. Nobody wants to do that. It's ridiculous. In 3 months, federal funds began getting pulled from all universities on clear violation. Now, these were clear violations. And now you have 2 civil rights complaints at the DOJ for Cherry Creek. 2. And now I want you to play something else. Here's an audio recording from AFL, from the filing. And this is blaming black students' conduct on whiteness of the school. This is how absurd. This is another level of absurd. Just ridiculous. You're basically teaching people, here's what you're doing. You're going to get to the point where it's going to be mass bloodshed. And you want to know why? Not because white people and black people can't get along, but because you have these synagogue of Satan devils on the sidelines that are making all the rules and are deciding who gets money, who doesn't, who gets to have justice, who doesn't. It basically is it's not a 2-tier justice system. It's no justice except for who we decide are the winners and losers. It's terrible. It's terrible. Let's play this audio recording.
For not having discipline, then does he offer that, or he just said it's not good?
I mean, we can go over the whole conversation.
I'm sorry, it's just that we see her a lot now at this point, and
two hour and a half. I mean, we probably within 2 weeks we spent over 3 hours meeting with Dr. Asset and Dad and Omar and Owie and I, and whole group of
conversations
people.
With me and Mom, and conversations with me, Mom, and Asset.
So the bottom line in all of this is that their first instinct is implicit bias. So if, for example, is not responding appropriately to concerns, it's because has implicit bias towards a black young lady, and that she does not know how to navigate the cultural identity of a black young lady, and that is talking to her like talks to anybody. This is just how communicates, and that is culturally appropriate for her to communicate that way because that's what is culturally appropriate. And that what is happening is that the whiteness that is present in our building is looking at that in a punitive way. That we are not. Is this a fair way?
You're on point.
That we are attributing negative connotations to what is essentially exactly. We're calling her disrespectful or disruptive or defiant when she is just communicating in a culturally appropriate way. And
that woman is retarded. That woman is the definition of retarded. She's the most retarded person. She could win the award for the most retarded individual. And then the other person has said, "Oh, that's right. You're on point." You're stupid retarded. You're even past the part of retarded. You fell in a bucket of retard and you never got out of it. You just you almost drowned. That's how retarded these people are. They're being disrespectful. You have them screaming at people, pulling people's hair, doing all sorts of stuff, and that's appropriate. And we have to give them free passes. No, we don't. And black people don't want free passes. They want opportunity. They don't want to be saying, okay, have them run out and do all this stuff wrong, and we're just going to let them keep going out on the street. We didn't teach them anything, because God forbid you create this thing called discipline. And I don't care if you're white, yellow, green, yellow, purple. I don't care about any color. See, my generation thought we got rid of this. We're like, look, what's up, bro? How you doing? We don't go, hey, what's up, bro? Oh, you're black. Oh, what's up, my brother? That didn't happen. We judged each other. We got on the basketball court, or we got on the football field, or we got on the wrestling mat. We never played tennis, so that wasn't even a thing. We became our brother's keeper, man. We would hang out. It didn't matter what color you were. My family is that. My family is the perfect melting pot, man. It's freaking amazing. And in the middle of all this madness, we don't have these problems. You want to know why? Because we think it's absurd. My sister's black. She married a white dude. His name's Rick. He's awesome. He's one of my favorite people. She's one of my favorites. Actually, I love my brothers and sisters, even the ones that are screwed up. We keep putting all these, we keep allowing retards like this to speak and put us into this tailspin. And so what happens is it builds and it builds and it builds and it builds and it builds, and all of a sudden it goes, and then people die. It happens on the black side too. So you got someone that has been taught nothing. You guys out of school, he hardly read. He's never been conditioned for anything. They've probably shoved a bunch of psychotropic drugs down his throat. He's lived in a poor environment, so he's always running from one thing. I mean, the adrenaline in his body and the cortisol that it creates, because you have gunshots and gangs and all this other stuff. And I'm talking about the inner city. It's a real thing. So you got PTSD that's running through your head all the time. All of a sudden you can't get this, can't do that, can't be successful. You look out there, you see Mercedes and houses and all this stuff, and you're like, why can't I achieve that? But he can't achieve it because it was these same devils over here that said, hey, listen, we got your best interest in mind. Here's abortion over here. And oh, by the way, just go out there. You could be LeBron James or a drug dealer. And they want him to be LeBron James, but on the dumb side, so that they can just take all that money, and when they're done with him, in the gladiator sports of America, they can just shove him right back out on the street and he can go back to being poor. We got to make sure that drugs are out there, though, and porn, and we got to strip the white people of the society, because they're the problem. What they're saying is they got to strip society of Christians. We got to get rid of Christians. Yeah, get rid of the Christians. Get rid of the Christians, because if we get rid of the Christians, we got rid of all the problems. Because then it's a heyday. We do whatever we want, right? But then you don't actually look at what they're trying to accomplish. The World Economic Forum said, Yuval Noah Harari said it very clearly. We want to eliminate, Bill Gates said it. We want to eliminate 90 to 95% of the population of the world. There's too many people on this planet. Now, at the same time, they push green new agenda, and they dropped stuff out of the sky from us, and they came in and screwed up society and said you can be a cat. I mean, the amount of stupid going on in our society, the retardedness that we have in our society that is self-made by people that are retards on the side that control every lever of our society. They control the mores of society while they browbeat Christians by using the moniker white. And they're not white. And we're so retarded we can't see this. How is it? How can you not see this? How can you not see what I'm saying is true? That's why I say facts don't care about your feelings. And I want to show you something else. This just shows you how they continue to double down on this while President Trump is in office. The DOJ has done nothing. Todd Blanche will do much more of nothing, because these are the haves versus the have-nots, and they're destroying every part of society. Just look at what they've done to every community. that had any sort of, it was on an upward trajectory. The 90s into the 2000s, man, we were on fire. 2008 came along, you had the, let's start now by putting the Affordable Care Act, which they should have called it the Unaffordable Care Act because rates have gone up 1,200%. And the quality of care has gone down significantly. And big companies are getting bigger and getting more money, and insurance companies are over here getting bigger and getting more money. And the technocracy is over here telling us that you can't have competition, and they're cutting out the small businesses, medium businesses in the middle of everything, and they're telling us you only have to do business with these people, and these are the only people you can work for, and everyone else outside of that is basically shit on. And they're the ones that represent 90% of the tax base, because we're also going to give freebies to people at the very top. And instead of having a consumption-based tax in the United States, we take you wherever we can. We take property tax, so you rent your property from us. We make sure that you have to pay to put plates on your car, so you own your car. Everything that you have. If you have a business, there's a business tax you have to pay on just property that you've already paid and paid taxes on. So if you buy all the equipment that we have in this studio, and you go, they come in here and they're like, oh, you have $70,000. You have to pay a business property tax for property you already paid tax on. You have to pay it again. And they make it impossible because they make the next generation retarded talking about what this fool was talking about. We're getting to the place right now where we've had enough. You've had enough. We need a people's party. It's one of the reasons why I'm getting in this whole thing about the Republican Party is let's just get to the place where we have a people's party. Let's just have a party, people's party. A party that literally just says, is it good for the community? No. You want pronouns? Shove your pronouns up your ass. What do you want over here? You want to teach this whiteness deal? Man, just, you can F all the way off. Get out. The only communities that are thriving today in this country are ones that have rejected this idea. Those are the only ones that are actually thriving. You think I'm kidding? Go look it up. You tell me how much people are thriving in that environment. You reject it, you're fine. Everything's fine. Man, you can live a much happier life. Here's Mandami. He unveiled a preliminary racial equity plan, funneling resources to Black and brown New Yorkers across city agencies. I'm telling you this right now, it's not what he's doing. What he's doing is he's giving it to illegals. He's stepping over Black and brown. I have friends that are in New York, and they said, Joe, I'm American. I don't get anything. He gives it to all these freaks and people that are in his little circle. Play it.
And while today's true cost of living measure confirms that the affordability crisis touches every corner of our city, we know that these effects are not applied evenly. So often, it is Black and brown New Yorkers who are hit the hardest. This preliminary racial equity plan is the first step in developing a whole of government approach to tackling that reality. It is a plan that lays out these first steps to solve decades of neglect and discrimination, and it places the work of 45 city agencies within a singular framework.
This plan was born during a defining moment in our city's history, when New Yorkers were in the streets in the midst of a global pandemic, calling for justice, demanding accountability, and bearing witness to brutality unfolding on our streets and on our screens. In that moment, our city was asked to reckon with the deep systemic inequities that have long shaped life here and to do better. New Yorkers across all 5 boroughs answered that call. Their voices, their advocacy, and their persistence are what brought us to this moment. The release of the preliminary citywide racial equity plan is a reflection of that collective mandate. It is not just a document, it is a commitment to confront institutional and systemic racism within our city and to begin the work of dismantling it.
Now, you know what this is? This is a boogeyman behind every corner. This is a George Floyd bullshit of the guy who had 4 times the lethal limit of fentanyl in his system, but we're going to ignore that. We're going to punish a cop for 19 years for what is absolute bullshit. Our system is completely screwed. There's nothing left of it. There's nothing left of it. We have stolen elections. And until you actually get rid of the stolen elections, you have nothing. You have nothing. You are literally a slave on a ticking time bomb. And sooner or later, they're going to come take it from you. If they haven't tried to take it from you already, i.e. me. Stand up against the devil itself. Stand up against people that are devils. Separate the wheat from the chaff. Talk about the fact that the people inside of Israel are equally victimized by these evil doers. People that have done evil. Somebody said, Joe, how do you decide? Kyle Clark said, how do you decide, Joe, who's the synagogue of Satan? You shall judge them by their deeds. That's how I found out who they are. When they do things to actively destroy everything that we represent. And when you have Lauren Boebert gets on and takes a picture, a selfie at a Rockies game, and can't recognize the fact that Tina Peters is in jail and that we are at war, all you showed me, Lauren, is that I want nothing to do with you. And I got to work with you because I'm going to fix the Republican Party. But in the future, we will have candidates that won't do that. They won't even once even try to dance with the devil. You watch as people in Colorado burn, and you think it's funny. You think it's hilarious. You think it's okay. We can just watch our communities burn to the ground. I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted by the leadership that we have in our country right now. I'm disgusted by the DOJ. I'm disgusted by Bondi. I'm disgusted by Todd Blanche, because you know what? It's not that complicated. I'm disgusted by the judges that we have in positions of authority that have done real harm to our communities. Can't be any more disgusted. Just disgusted, 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 disgusted. Mum Dummy is evil. Yeah, he is. Yeah. I just want you guys to understand that what we're dealing with right now is absolute evil, and we are headed towards a cliff that we will not come back from. We won't come back from it. Jolt is almost always right. Yeah, I am, and that's why they've done everything they can to censor me. So that's why you become the ambassadors of truth. I'll just the clowns that we have to deal with on a near regular basis, who come directly to they watch, by the way, our show. The clowns, the Coomer clown, right? The clown car, that they come and watch my show every single day, and they lie with impunity, and they continue to lie. They continue to stack things up and to do things that have nothing to do with anything other than the fact that they're trying to cover up their crimes. They say that when you have the facts, you pound the facts. When you don't have anything, you pound the table. And that's all the radical left has done, is pound the table. All right, I got to go. I'm done. I got a bunch of stuff I got to do. And it looks like I'm done a little early, which is weird. Remember, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and more. It's been great to hang out with you guys today. I want you to know that this is not a black pill moment. It's not even a pill moment. It's a stand up, speak up. We're going to build the largest coalition of people across the entire state of Colorado, and we're going to build a model for other states. That is, unless the rhinos step in and say, oh no, Joe's not our choice, which is possible. Because at the end of the day, fixing something so inherently broken as it is in the state of Colorado, the Republican Party, it's not just broken. It's on. We don't even have a state. It's on life support. In debt, with $20,000 in the bank, with a person running it that hates the very people that she represents. That's where we're at in Colorado. So we'll see how it goes. We will see how it goes. In the meantime, make sure you're the ones that share and do all the things on your side. And yeah, I'll just pray us out, yeah? Father God, thank you for yesterday. Thank you for the symbol of the sacrifice that was made for all of us so that we can have eternal life. Father, it is a harrowing environment that we're trying to weed through. We know that it's also one of the most exciting times to be alive. We have the ability to defeat evil once and for all. And Father, I just ask you to give us patience and to help us to have humility in how we deal with the people around us, and to help us to fight through this stuff we are experiencing. Help us, Father, to have courage and to act in that courage, to represent you well. Father, I just ask you to help our friends that are suffering right now. Dave Bear, that's fighting as hard as he can against this cancer, and I just keep bugging you for it, but I just pray that you can heal him fully. Help us, Father, that we may be able to see the light at the end of the tunnel and walk towards it by doing the work that needs to get done in the meantime. Help us that we can make Colorado a better place, make Colorado great, but that we won't sacrifice ethics or morals in order to get there. I ask these things, Father, in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Oh, so much to do, so much to do. I want to thank Patrick for the fight that he put himself in. It's cost him dearly. After 19 years, he was in education. 17 years. Through this 19. He's getting educated right now. Yeah. I know 17. I had to go through my Rolodex in my brain. All right. We'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, same station. Remember to hit the share button, do all the stuff that you do, and continue to fight. I'll continue to fight here too. Take care.
Rise up untamed in the heart of the fight where the wild ones roam. Joe Oltmann's calling, bringing truth back home. From conservative daily to this untamed fire, we shatter the silence, lifting spirits higher. No chains can hold us, no lies can prevail. Authentic and fearless on this rugged trail. Patriots gather under stars and stripes. Untamed nation, igniting the night. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Untamed nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave belong. Yeah, untamed and wild, forever strong. Play it again all night long. No more games, time to heal. Joe's voice leads the untamed crew. Truth matters through and through. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Untamed nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the